Can we just move on to Mr. Cedric Nkabinde? He was your chief of staff. Before his appointment as chief of staff, did you know him?
Who is that?
Nkabinde, Cedric Nkabinde.
Yes, I know Nkabinde.
Since when did you first meet him, or for how long do you know him?
The first time I met Nkabinde, it was because I had written a letter, this letter. I don't know whether the legal team did include it for your reference. It was written, this letter was written in 2017, 29 May 2017. It was written by me to IPIT.
Yeah, sorry, just Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, it is an exhibit to bundle 6. Unfortunately, the bundle, well, the pages are not paginated, but it's about the 4th page.
Yes.
Where
it says read.
This is this is addressed. This is dated 29 May 2017.
Yes.
It's addressed to IPID, Independent Police Investigating Directorate, and it's about complaint against police regarding investigation on the murder of Xolani Nkosi, and it was written by you.
Yes, it's written by me.
Yeah.
Yes, if I could elaborate. How I got to know Nkabinde, it was as a result of this letter. And I want to emphasize that I heard General Mkhwanazi talking about the visit to my home by Robert McBride, who was head of IP, together with Nkabinde. Indeed, that incident did take place, but not the way he was relating it to the public, because he spoke about them flying a long way to Durban and then driving a long way to Mpangeni as if it was leisure and as if it was some...
so is this in 2017?
In 2017.
When McBride and Nkabinde was also with IPID? When
they were with IPIT, and yes.
Yeah, they come to your house, to your home.
Yes, at Mpangeni.
And
after receiving this letter.
Yeah, and was that after you were no longer the Premier of KZN?
No, I was no longer.
Okay. So they visit you in 2017 at your home?
Yes.
Is it in connection with this, with your complaint?
Yes.
That you lodged with IPID?
Yes.
Because there was some allegation you were somehow involved with the death of Xolani.
Yes.
And Xolani was your one of your bodyguards.
He was my staff, not really my close bodyguard, but he was part of the security team that he would advance where I go and check, and then he got murdered at some point, and I wasn't there around Mpangeni. I was working in Ladysmith when I heard it was in the evening that he had been murdered. It was around 8. So
that was the first time you met Nkabinde? That
was the first time I met Nkabinde, and then I explained my matter, the basis of this letter, to McBride, Robert McBride. Yeah. And after we discussed the basis of this letter and everything I was complaining about, Robert McBride allocated Nkabinde to deal with the case. He said, take his details, take whatever, remain in contact, he will give you feedback on your matter. And that is what exactly happened. I maintained contact with Nkabinde. He gave me feedback in terms of what was happening. Now, the real thing that was happening is not what was insinuated in what General Mkhwanazi was saying. This was a grave matter where I believed I was unjustifiably being pursued by the Hawks, following this incident, because the Director of Prosecutions in KZN had actually advanced 7 reasons why there wouldn't be any prosecution, where I got to be associated very strangely.
Who was the KZN DPP at the time that cleared you?
I can't recall the name and surname, but following this incident, give you some clarity, this incident at Mbangen, I followed up the matter as to where police were on the matter, and then I heard that it is now with some units in a Tegwini police unit that were investigating it, and I was satisfied with that. And then after that, I then followed up again. Then I heard that there was a rumor in KZN that I was a suspect myself in the matter of Xolani. Xolani comes from...
So did you lodge or file your complaint with IPID before you heard that you were now also a suspect, or was it afterwards?
No, it was after.
Afterwards?
Yes. I heard that I was a suspect. And this got the family very worried and myself very worried. And I had the services of a private investigator myself to say, no, now that there's a story going around which I don't know anything about, let me safeguard myself and get a private investigator. And that matter then it then took its natural course. In other words, police were investigating, and on the other hand, the private investigator got involved.
Was a private investigator that you appointed?
Yes, I had appointed.
Did this private investigator work with or assist the police?
Yes, to ensure that the matter is investigated objectively, because there were now rumors, very, very ugly and strange rumors of putting me there and so on. Now, finally what happened is that, that those matters were clarified, and the people who had been involved in the matter of Xolani got arrested, and I believe that they are still in jail as we talk, because the matter was thereafter properly investigated and so on. Now, the other matter of me being associated with him and then pursued, I smelled a rat and said, why would Hawks go out of the actual investigation? Because I do even remember that I spoke to Provincial Commissioner, he was acting, Jula, where I said, Jula, I now hear that I am a suspect. Look, if I am a suspect, this is my address, my home address. This is my office in Durban. This is my office in Pietermaritzburg as a premier. If you conclude your investigation and somehow you need me for anything, including arrest, this is where you will find me. Otherwise, I'll be on the road working. This is my number. And I think a week thereafter, he said, no, he wrote to me and said, you are not a suspect. There is a process going on investigation, which led finally to the arrest of people who had pulled the trigger, and those who had taken his cell phone, being identified and all that, and the matter was closed. So it was very strange that Hawks then started pursuing the matter on the other hand in a very strange way. It was for that reason that I then wrote the letter to say, no, what is this now? And then McBride brought in Nkabinde, and then they started investigating. And to cut matters short.
Did Nkabinde engage with the Hawks?
They engaged the Hawks, the head of Hawks in KwaZulu-Natal at that time, to say, what is this? What is the basis? And they found out that he said, according to Nkabinde, when they inquired with him, he said he was not satisfied with the reasons that were advanced by DPP, and the procedure was that they would have appealed to the national head of prosecutions instead of pursuing a matter that was now closed by DPP at provincial level. And that was out of procedure, what was happening.
So once I'm sorry to speed it up a bit, Honourable Minister. So once the suspects were apprehended, they were prosecuted,
yes,
and imprisoned. What happened, or what was your relationship with Nkabinde? He's now working for IPID.
Yes.
That issue has now been resolved. So just fast forward a bit. What did you continue to have a relationship? Did it strengthen with Nkabinde? Did it become personal? Just tell us a bit about that.
It was now very loose and very relaxed, not pursuing anything, because I was now satisfied. I need to have mentioned that what I said to Jula was that you can pursue me if you feel I'm a suspect, but don't lose sight of somebody whose hands are with Mkhwanazi's blood, and there's evidence to that effect. Or you rather do both.
Yeah.
And I put that very strongly, and that led to that person being prosecuted and so on. So with Nkabinde, it was now very loose. It would be just a call here and there, not for anything. I just appreciated the way they had done the job.
Now we heard this actually from Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, that Nkabinde then left the IPID. I'm not sure whether it was a termination, a resignation, or a dismissal, but he left IPID.
Yes.
I think he had a fallout allegedly with McBride.
Yes.
And he left IPID. He was unemployed for a while, and then Mkhwanazi found him a job with a security firm. I don't know if you're able to comment on that or how much you know about it. If you don't have to comment on it. But yeah, so during this period that I'm referring to, do you still have a relationship with Nkabinde? Do you still know him? Do you still interact with him?
Now, when I called Cedric in terms of the vacancy as Chief of Staff, to say he may submit a application if he so wishes for the panel that would interview them. I did check some detail on the profile, and actually after I spoke to him, it is not exactly as John Mkhwanazi puts it. Cedric spoke to me that all the reasons why he had to leave IPID and circumstances thereof. After that, he got employed by the bank in their forensics department and so on. And he told me that John Mkhwanazi actually knows that Cedric got employed in the bank because he would invite General Mkhwanazi to functions of the bank because they were close, and he would attend. So he knows beyond any doubt that he got employed. So he found it strange that he is said to have been unemployed.
Yeah, they I'm not sure what the position is currently, but they were friends. They were close.
They were.
That's
yes.
how we hear about these phone calls between Mkhwanazi and Nkabinde. So
Well, I'm not
Let's
sure.
just fast forward a bit. This position of Chief of Staff,
Yes.
was it? Is it an advertised position?
No.
What are the qualifications you need to have to be a Chief of Staff of a minister in government?
Now, there is something called Ministerial Handbook. What happens is that when you recruit staff, you've got to look at the ministerial book and what it says about each position, and then you contact people that you think are possible candidates, and they get to a panel set up by the department that you are working for, and they get interviewed. I know this in detail because I was once Minister of Public Service and Administration, and I made sure that I introduce improvements that are in place today in terms of recruitment, so that you don't recruit anyone just because you love them or because they are associated with you or they are your relatives. We prescribed certain qualifications, because if you're a chief of staff, you are actually a chief director. So it can't be that you get there because you are related to the current minister. You must possess, because you get a salary paid for by the public, you must be seen to be meeting certain criteria.
So he had to meet the criteria qualifications for a chief director
together with
in the public service.
Definitely.
And that position is advertised.
No, that position is not advertised. It just gets proceeded with internally.
Because I'm asking because you mentioned something about a panel. Maybe I got it wrong.
Yes,
I heard wrong.
Yes, it gets processed by the department itself internally. That there's you are supposed to have such a number of staff members, and we are ready with the panel. You can give us names and so on, including internally. People get to know inside the department that.
So how does the panel get these names? Is it an internal?
It's an internal arrangement that you give them names of people, but other people get to know that there's a post internally within that department, and they apply. But it is a risk thing in the sense that when anyone who works with you, who agrees to work with you, has their term attached to your term. So being minister, you get appointed, but at some point you get appointed, you know that you will get disappointed at some point. And when they come, they know that they will be disappointed together with you. Yes. So you can't easily leave a permanent post only to be disappointed the following week or so.
No, I just want to understand, how did Nkabinde's name get into the mix? If this was an internal process, how did his name get?
It's an internal process.
Did you put forward his name?
You put forward the names as a minister, but you also allow, if there are people internally that can apply, that would wish to apply, and they do so. And so they therefore submit their profiles, why they think they are suitable, and so on. And then they get interviewed. That's the bottom line. They get interviewed.
They get interviewed, and do they then make a recommendation to you, or do they?
They do
you make the appointment.
They do give me results of the application on various aspects of what these people know, what they have in terms of skills and all of those things, even qualifications academically and so on. And then you say, look, I would rather take so and so. And looking at compliance and all of those matters.
And those records, would one be able to access them? Would they be available?
They get kept by the department.
Okay.
They get kept by the department.
So from the list of names, how many names did you get?
Well, it is in accordance with the establishment for your support as minister, as prescribed by the ministerial handbook. they allocated a specific number.
So
it's a limited number.
on what basis or for what reason did you prefer Nkabinde as Chief of Staff? Is it because of your relationship with him, which started in 2017 when he was working for IPID?
That is one factor, but the other factor is compliance. His educational qualifications, his experience, which is related to police. I had a Chief of Staff, but when I came to police, I realized that, look, I would benefit from somebody who has background. This is a large department, it's a police department. I would benefit if I were to get somebody who has some understanding of how police work, and so on. And I found that he met those criteria. But as a minister, when you do so, you also need somebody who you think you can trust, and so on, somebody you have some background with. And yes, that was one factor that I considered.
Now, I understand that he was only a non-commissioned, lower-level police officer. He had no senior police experience.
The post of Chief of Staff didn't require that I look for somebody who must have been a brigadier or must have been a general or something like that, because there was no such prescription. Prescription is there. That a person must have a certain level of qualifications, and he met those qualifications with a degree in policing and all of that. And so the level is not necessarily prescribed. Actually, you can even get somebody who has no background of policing, but I needed somebody. I thought I needed somebody who had some background of policing, because I was all of a sudden appointed there, and therefore I needed that kind of leverage.
And I suppose the other maybe unwritten criteria or qualification, or rather criteria, is you need to appoint someone that you can trust.
You definitely need somebody,
especially Chief of Staff.
Yes, that you have a certain level of trust with. But at the same time, you can trust a person, but only to find that they have no related experience, nor do they have qualifications. And therefore, it's quite a number of factors that you have to consider when doing so.
I also asked because there is a WhatsApp which I'll find, or ask to find, where I think it's Mkhwanazi or Matlala, they say that they're looking for your number, and then it says that they should ask Nkabinde for your number. Are you aware of it? Do you want to comment on it? Or would this be the usual protocol? If I want your number, Honourable Minister, do I have to go through your Chief of Staff to get your number?
Now, I'm not sure I'm aware of that, but in case it happened, it wouldn't have been something that would have happened for the first time. They phone PAs, they even phone other people that I work with looking for the number. It depends on who the person who wants my contact gets to know or to get to contact. It's not just the Chief of Staff only, but they also do talk to other people that I work with. In some cases, they even talk to my wife wanting my numbers.